My father slammed the biology textbook so hard the coffee mugs rattled. "You're wasting electricity reading this garbage, Emma. Your brain isn't built for college." I was 17, sitting at the kitchen table of our family restaurant in Cleveland, trying to study after my shift. My mother didn't even look up from counting the register. "Your father's right. Smart girls don't need to prove anything. You'll manage Romanos someday. That's enough." My younger sister Lily smirked from the corner booth where she was doing her own homework our parents actually respected because she was the bright one. She was planning to study business at Ohio State. Full tuition paid. Meanwhile, I was staring at rejection letters from every scholarship I'd applied to. But I got accepted to. "Acceptance doesn't mean you belong there," Dad interrupted. "Community college rejected you twice, Emma. That tells you something. The restaurant is good enough for us. Why isn't it good enough for you?" "Because I watched you refuse to call an ambulance when that customer had a stroke last year," I thought. "Because you said it would hurt business. Because I held her hand while she died waiting for help that came too late." I didn't say that out loud. Instead, I asked, "What about the state school? I could commute. Work here and study." My mother finally looked at me. Her expression wasn't angry. It was pity. "Baby, you failed chemistry twice in high school. Medical school? You can't be serious." "I failed because I was working 60 hours a week here. See?" Dad pointed at me like I'd proven his point. "Always making excuses. That's not doctor behavior, that's failure behavior." Lily didn't say anything. She never did. But I caught her expression, relief. Relief that they were focused on me instead of her. Relief that she was safe in her golden child bubble. That night, I made a choice. I stole $300 from my tip jar that my parents had borrowed 6 months ago and never returned. I packed one bag. And I left a note on my bed that said simply, "You're right. I don't belong here." I didn't belong there. But I'd find where I did. The bus to Pittsburgh left at 4 a.m. I'd researched everything in secret at the public library. Pennsylvania had programs for medical assistants that didn't require college degrees. I could start there, work my way up, prove everyone wrong. My roommate in the women's shelter was a nurse named Diana who'd escaped her own bad situation. She found me crying over a bowl of instant noodles my second week there. "What's your story?" she asked, not unkindly. I told her everything. The restaurant, the textbook, the woman who died. Diana listened and then said something that changed my life. "My hospital needs phlebotomists. Night shift. I can get you in. It's not medical school, but it's a start." I took the job. Minimum wage, graveyard shift, drawing blood from patients who were scared or angry or dying. But I was in a hospital. I was learning. I studied every medical textbook I could find in the hospital library during my breaks. Dr. Patricia Chen was the neurosurgeon who noticed me. I was 6 months into my phlebotomy job when she caught me reading neuroanatomy through clinical cases at 3 a.m. in the break room. "That's graduate-level material," she said. I nearly dropped the book. "I'm sorry. I found it in the donation pile. Why are you reading it?" I could have lied. Instead, I told the truth. Because brains are everything. They're who we are. And I want to understand how to fix them when they break. Dr. Chen sat down across from me. "How old are you?" 18. "College. No money. No support. Barely graduated high school because I was working full-time." She studied me for a long moment. "I'm going to tell you something, and you're going to think I'm crazy. But I see something in you. Hunger. The kind that either destroys people or builds them into something extraordinary. Which one am I? That's up to you. But I'm willing to bet on you if you're willing to bet on yourself." Dr. Chen became my mentor. She helped me apply to community college with her recommendation letter. She connected me with scholarship programs for non-traditional students. She hired me as her research assistant, which paid better than phlebotomy. Your family doesn't support this, she asked once while we were reviewing brain scans. My family told me I'm too stupid for this. Then prove them wrong. Not for them. For you. And for every patient who needs a surgeon who remembers what it feels like to be counted out. It took me 3 years to finish community college. I worked full-time and took classes whenever I could. My GPA was perfect, 4.0. Every A felt like an act of rebellion. When I applied to university pre-med programs, I got into 7 schools. I chose the University of Pittsburgh because Dr. Chen was affiliated there and because Pittsburgh had become home. Medical school was brutal. Not the academics, those I could handle. It was the money. I took out massive loans. Worked as a barista, a tutor, a night custodian at the hospital. I survived on 4 hours of sleep and developed an ulcer from stress. Diana checked on me regularly. You look terrible. I look like a medical student. Your family ever reach out? I changed my phone number 3 times. Deleted all social media. Legally changed my last name from Romano to Matthews during my 2nd year of med school, my grandmother's maiden name. Emma Matthews had a chance. Emma Romano was the stupid daughter who belonged in a restaurant. No, I said. And I prefer it that way. The lie I told myself was that I didn't care. The truth was that every achievement felt hollow because the people who should have celebrated me had written me off before I even started. But I kept going. Because stopping would mean they were right. Neurosurgery residency nearly broke me. 7 years of the most intense training imaginable. I was 31 years old, single, exhausted, and brilliant. My attending physicians called me a natural. My hands never shook. My decisions were sound. I could see solutions in scans that others missed. You have a gift, Dr. Chen told me during my chief resident year. The kind that comes from understanding suffering. Is that what we're calling trauma now? She laughed. No. But trauma plus determination plus talent. That's what makes exceptional surgeons. I finished residency at 33. Got hired at Cleveland Clinic, one of the top hospitals in the world. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'd come back to Cleveland. Just not to the restaurant. By 35, I was publishing research papers. By 37, I was speaking at conferences. At 39, I performed a surgery that made national news, removing a tumor from a teenage girl's brain that everyone else said was inoperable. She walked out of the hospital a month later, whole and healthy. The interview requests flooded in. I turned down most of them. But I accepted one from a medical journal because they wanted to feature doctors who overcame adversity. I told a carefully edited version of my story. Unsupportive family. Worked my way through school. Became a neurosurgeon. I didn't name names or locations. Just said I came from a restaurant family that didn't value education. The article published on a Tuesday. By Friday, I had a message waiting in my office from hospital administration. Dr. Matthews, there's a family in the ER asking for you specifically. They say they're your parents. Should we send them away? My hands went cold. 15 years. 15 years of silence and suddenly they were here. What do they want? The father is a patient. Diagnosed with a glioblastoma brain tumor. They saw your article. They're asking if you can see him. I should have said no. Should have had security escort them out. Instead, I heard myself say, put them in consultation room 3. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I needed those 20 minutes to prepare. To put on my armor. To remember that I was Dr. Emma Matthews, not stupid Emma Romano. They looked older. My father's hair was grey, his face thinner. My mother had aged harder, stress lines around her mouth, exhaustion in her eyes. Lily sat beside them, now 27 and wearing a business suit. She looked successful. Comfortable. They all stood when I entered in my white coat, my name embroidered on the pocket, Dr. Emma Matthews, neurosurgery. Emma. My mother's voice cracked. Look at you. It's Dr. Matthews, I said, keeping my tone professional. I understand Mr. Romano has been diagnosed with a glioblastoma. My father started crying. Actual tears. Baby girl, I'm so sorry. We were wrong. We were so wrong about you. I need to see your medical records and imaging before I can comment on your case. Emma, please, my mother reached for me. I stepped back. I'll review your husband's case. But let's be clear about why you're here. You didn't come because you're proud of me. You came because you need me. Lily finally spoke. That's not fair. We've been trying to find you for years. Really? Because I've been here in Cleveland for 4 years. My name is on the hospital website. I've been interviewed in national publications. If you wanted to find me, you could have. The truth hit them visibly. They hadn't been looking. Not really. Really? Because I've been here in Cleveland for 4 years. My name is on the hospital website. I've been interviewed in national publications. If you wanted to find me, you could have. The truth hit them visibly. They hadn't been looking. Not really. I took my father's medical records home that night. Glioblastoma multiforme. Stage 4. Aggressive. Located in the frontal lobe. Without surgery, he had maybe 6 months. With surgery, maybe 18 if the surgeon was skilled enough to remove it without destroying his cognitive function. It was operable. Difficult, but possible. I'd done similar surgeries a dozen times. The question wasn't could I do it. It was should I. Diana came over with wine. Tell me you're not actually considering this. He'll die without surgery. He told you that you were too stupid to be here. Those were his words, Emma. And now he wants you to save his life. I know. So why are you even debating this? Because I'm not him. I'm not someone who lets people suffer because of pride or money or past hurt. If I turn him away, I become what he was, someone who watches people die when they could help. Diana poured more wine. You're a better person than me. No. I'm just a doctor. This is what I do. I called a family meeting for the next day. All 3 of them came. I had contracts prepared, my lawyer had worked overnight. I've reviewed the case, I began. The tumor is operable. Success rate with my experience level is approximately 70% for complete resection without permanent deficits. Thank God, my mother whispered. However, before we proceed, I need several things addressed. First, this will be handled as any other patient case. Standard hospital rates apply. The surgery costs approximately $150,000, not including hospital stay and follow-up care. My father's face went white. Emma, we can't afford that. The restaurant barely survived COVID. We thought because you're family, I'm not offering a family discount. I'm offering my professional services at standard rates. But we're your parents. You're a patient and his relatives. Nothing more. My mother looked desperate. Emma, please. We made mistakes. We were wrong about you. But you can't just let him die because you're angry. I'm not letting anyone die. I'm establishing boundaries. Second item, I pulled out another document. You'll sign this acknowledging that you withdrew financial and emotional support during my educational journey. This is for my records. Why do you need that? Lily asked. Because I need you to be honest about what happened. In writing. No revision of history. No, we always believed in you. Just the truth. The room was silent. Third item. After this surgery, regardless of outcome, you don't contact me again unless I initiate it. No surprise visits. No guilt trips. No social media posts about your successful daughter. You wanted me out of your life. I'm granting that wish on my terms now. That's cruel, my father said. No. Cruel is telling your daughter she's stupid. Cruel is refusing to help her when she's drowning. This is self-preservation. They signed everything. The acknowledgement hurt them the most. I watched my mother's hands shake as she wrote that they did not provide financial or emotional support for Emma's education and stated she was not intelligent enough for university. My father's signature was barely legible. His hands were already affected by the tumor. I scheduled his surgery for the following week. It gave me time to prepare mentally and gave him time to do pre-surgical testing. Dr. Chen found me in my office the night before the operation. "You don't have to do this," she said. "I know. You don't have to prove anything to them. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it because I took an oath. And because that scared 17-year-old girl reading biology textbooks in a restaurant deserves to know she became exactly what she dreamed of. Someone who saves lives. Even the lives of people who hurt her." The surgery took 11 hours. It was one of the most difficult operations I'd ever performed. The tumor was wrapped around critical brain tissue. One wrong move and my father would lose speech, movement, or personality. But my hands were steady. My mind was clear. And I removed 98% of the tumor. He'd live. He'd have more time. The pathology would determine how much, but I'd given him a chance. My mother and Lily were waiting when I came out of the OR. "He's alive," I said. "Surgery was successful. He'll need chemotherapy and radiation, but the tumor is mostly gone." My mother collapsed into a chair, sobbing. Lily just stared at me. "You actually did it," Lily said. "You saved him. That's my job. Even after everything. Especially after everything. Because I'm not like you. Any of you." My father woke up 2 days later. His first words were mumbled, but clear. "Emma's a doctor. A brain doctor. She saved me." The nurses told me he kept repeating it, like he couldn't quite believe it. I visited him once during his hospital stay. Professional check-in, nothing more. He tried to apologize, to thank me, to explain. "I was scared," he said, his voice weak. "You were so determined. So sure of yourself. I thought if you failed, it would destroy you. I thought I was protecting you." "You were protecting yourself," I corrected. "From having a daughter who was smarter than you expected. Who wanted more than you could understand. You weren't scared I'd fail. You were scared I'd succeed and prove you wrong." "You're right. I was. And you did. I didn't do it to prove anything to you. I did it because a woman died in your restaurant while you worried about your reputation. And I decided then that I'd be someone who actually helps people when they're dying." He closed his eyes. "I remember her. Mrs. Patterson. I think about her sometimes. I think about her every time I operate. Every single time." That was the last personal conversation we had. He was discharged 2 weeks later. My mother sent one email. "Thank you for his life. We won't bother you again." They kept their word. No calls. No visits. No friend requests. Just silence. But it was different now. It was silence I chose. 3 months after the surgery, Lily showed up at my office unannounced. Security called, and I almost had her removed. But something made me agree to see her. "I'm not here for them," she said immediately. "I'm here for me. I need to say something I should have said 15 years ago. I'm listening. I was relieved when you left." There, I said it. I was relieved because everything was easier when you weren't there. They stopped comparing us. They stopped arguing about your future. The restaurant ran smoothly. I got all their attention. "I know. You do. Lily, I saw your face that night. I've always known." She looked down. "I convinced myself you were better off. That you'd be fine because you were so strong. But the truth is, I was a coward. I didn't defend you because it benefited me that you were gone. Why are you telling me this now? Because watching you save Dad's life, watching you show up and be professional and skilled and everything they said you'd never be, it destroyed me. I have a business degree and I'm managing a failing restaurant. You have a medical degree and you're saving lives. I got the easy path and wasted it. You got nothing and built everything. I leaned back in my chair. What do you want from me, Lily? Forgiveness? Absolution? No. I want to know how you did it. How you kept going when everyone told you that you couldn't. I didn't have a choice. It was succeed or prove them right. And I'd rather die than give them that satisfaction. That's it. Spite. Spite is a powerful motivator. But eventually, it became something else. It became purpose. Every surgery I do, every life I save, that's not about them anymore. It's about the patients. The scared teenager who needs a tumor removed. The mother who wants to see her kids grow up. The grandfather who wants one more year. They're why I do this now. Lily wiped her eyes. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know I see what you did. And I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. After she left, Diana called. How are you feeling? Tired. But okay. You gave them what they needed and protected yourself. That's growth. Maybe. Or maybe I'm still that girl trying to prove she's not stupid. Emma. You're a brain surgeon. You literally operate on the most complex organ in the human body. You're not proving anything anymore. You've already proved it. My father lived another 2 years. The cancer came back, aggressive and inoperable the second time. I didn't attend the funeral. I sent flowers with a card that said, "Thank you for the motivation." My mother called once after he died, just to tell me he'd talked about me at the end. How proud he was. How sorry he was. I listened politely and said, I'm glad he found peace. I didn't say that his pride meant nothing to me anymore. That I'd stopped needing it years ago. Now I'm 45. Chief of Neurosurgery at Cleveland Clinic. I've performed over 2,000 brain surgeries. I've published 47 research papers. I've mentored 37 medical students, many of them from backgrounds like mine, kids who were told they weren't smart enough, weren't good enough, weren't enough. I tell every single one of them the same thing. Your past doesn't determine your capacity. Your work does. Last month, I operated on a 16-year-old girl with a tumor similar to my father's. Her parents were terrified, holding her hands in pre-op. Dr. Matthews will take care of you, her mother said. Are you scared? The girl asked me. No. Because I've done this before. And I'm very good at what I do. How do you get that confident? I smiled. Practice. And spite. Mostly spite. She laughed. Her surgery went perfectly. Later, in my office, I keep one thing from my old life. The biology textbook my father slammed on the table. I found it in a used bookstore 3 years ago, same edition, same cover. I keep it on my desk as a reminder. Not a reminder of what they said I couldn't do. But a reminder that I chose to do it anyway. And that choice, that singular moment of deciding I deserved better, changed everything. That's the real success. Not the title. Not the salary. Not even saving my father's life. It's knowing that the scared girl reading textbooks in a restaurant became the surgeon she dreamed of being. Not despite what they said. But because of what I chose to believe about myself instead. They called me stupid. I became brilliant. They said I'd fail. I succeeded beyond anything they imagined. And the best part? I didn't do it for them. I did it for me. And for every patient who trusts me with their brain, their life, their future. That's what they never understood. It was never about proving them wrong. It was about proving myself right. And I was right. I always was.